Yeah, Vaughn should just...
He can literally be anything he wants.
We just promote him.
We just keep promoting him.
I killed one guy for you months ago, and I've skyrocketed to the top. Uh-oh, he hit the router. That's it.
Another
Support.
Yeah, and instantly.
Wow,
now we're online.
good.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
So, like I said, la-di-di-da-di-di-da, we were in the middle of a conversation with the drow, with the whole world. Let me get my cheat sheet out.
Cheat sheet.
Drow equal bat.
Whoa, dude! It'd be 2021.
We need to hear their story.
I think I'm gonna either need to have to... Hold on. I'm gonna need to tuck in, because you're blocking me. Yeah, but every time I pick up this leg, it's just like, hey, you're slowly tearing me to pieces.
Oof.
Damn. It's just stripped. It fucking better not be. Other way. I'll just pull myself closer, lay it flat, and then hope for the best. Saddle in. All right. Better. Much better. So, here we are. You're in with the drow. Let's just do a roll call. Ty Alkir, the High Seer of Rasalama. Kylan San, the leader of Armadram. Fraslin Frampt, the Free People of Marymount. Urgot Terrafin, the halfling chieftain of Urbis Gaba. And of course, all of his folk. Chieftain Takashi of the Western Isles, Dabin Gorford of the Undertome, his people, Lilith Tamasay, the Gnome Enchanter for the Spire, Thoreau Onyx, the Drow representative. And then, of course, Basco for Therawil and Therawin. Crinch is there as his own representative. Maximilian is there. Nathaniel Valin is there. Everybody. The proceedings are yours. You've just ended your conversation with, wrapped up the proceedings of why the drow would be in and what they would provide in exchange for what.
Would I be able to make an insight roll on Basco to see, if I can pick up on how he's feeling?
Go ahead.
21.
That looks good. Did you roll a 19?
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh. Good thing you did.
I'm not good at everything.
It's tough to pick up. He is uncomfortable with this. He does...
Oh, right, because he does know.
He does know, as you all know, that the drow have enslaved the Mind Flayers. A lot's at stake. He doesn't know, is it better to give it up? Or to finally have peace? He always felt for the drow for a long period of time, because he always felt that they were underrepresented. Then he found out they were doing this. He never knew met a Mind Flayer. It's tough. A lot of emotions are high. He also doesn't want to jeopardize a peace that was just founded. If he's wrong, because, he's been doing that before. And you notice a sort of shyness in a world theater, because he doesn't want to push too hard yet, if that makes any sense. Especially given his track record.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is as good a time as any to take a 5-minute recess.
Everyone kind of Harrian Sands. Well, I wasn't expecting to do this, but sure. Everyone take a 5-minute recess. It's just like, not so good. Everybody goes, refills their wines, takes a leak. It was unexpected, but everybody's like, oh, I'll take a 5.
From this point on, every meeting will have 5-minute recesses.
They're just like, wait a minute, I've never thought about that before. We could just stop for a little bit. I'm gonna go get more wine.
I'm gonna go to where Basco is. I don't want to whisper at him. Or be like, hey, bud.
Hey, let me whisper in your ear.
Hey, bud.
It's like from down here.
I don't want to be pushy, but I felt you were a little bit uncomfortable back there. Is everything okay?
Just as a note, he has a few. He's got his house Carl. He's got
Carol.
Thayren is with him, as is Vayrant, the highest druid, and Gregor. Wait, hold on. The highest elf is Vayrant the Meath in the Druid Council, but the highest rate is Gregor. Benice the human, he's with him as well, as is Thayren, like I said, the overseer. So it's not just him you're discussing matters with.
Is the omelet man there? The omelet man?
No, the omelet guy that works the royal cafeteria is not with them.
Just a random guy holding a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I need an omelet now.
Yeah. There was strong sexual tension, the omelet man.
Oh, really?
Between
Yeah.
both Basco and Corvax.
Like he was he was a very sexually charged man. And then they were like, and he was just like, oh, so I think I'm into guys. And he's like, don't worry, me too. And he was just like, oh. And then for like the longest time, he would just hit on both of them. And they're like, well, we're actually together now. He's like, that doesn't mean we don't have to be.
It's like
He's
every time.
they're like, oh, fuck, God, this guy got us every time. He gets us with one. But no, he doesn't come. He hasn't came this time.
Okay.
Giggity.
Giggity.
Well, we have a concern with the fact that, well, like we've never dealt with the Mind Flayers before. They have a sort of not great nature about them to begin with. They are, well, usually an enemy. And as much as the Drow was, I don't think we could ever have peace talks with Mind Flayers.
But I don't think we could be having peace talks with slavers either.
Well, then that brings us to our next point. What would our solution be?
It's hard to put them
Genociding them?
It's hard to put them on the spot, I know. But the best
No,
way...
just ask me this.
Yeah.
What would the solution be? Release them? Sure, they definitely won't attack the Drow immediately. Or kill them. Or continue business as usual.
But just because the Mind Flayers are in the wrong doesn't mean the Drow have the right to enslave them.
What is the solution then? Genocide? Or freeing an unknown enemy?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I can't agree with slavery, Basco. In any
I understand
capacity.
that, but can you ever just answer a question?
I can't agree.
That's the point. We can all stamp our feet. But unless we provide a solution, it's pretty much just going to be business as usual. That's what politics is all about.
Just because they're our known enemy doesn't give us the right to do it. I think it's better to do it and ask the Drow to abolish slavery.
And then what would they do with the Elder Brain that is sitting in their capital? Let it inhabit their streets? Let the Mind Flayers walk amongst them? Slowly erasing their mind?
Is it possible that I come back from my leak at this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
What are we discussing?
He wants us to release the Mind Flayers into the Drow City.
Why? I think it's quite an accomplishment. They were able to capture him in the first place.
It's more of the slavery factor.
Okay, we get it.
We can't.
I'm anti-bad guy.
But I also need to. I understand, but for us to be a unified society, we can't let one country, like one group, have slavery and everybody else don't.
What's
Do we
wrong
want
with
to talk about how Volcrum operates the Forge? In the Undertone? Is that not slavery?
I must not know exactly how he handles that. Either way, these are just outside of the one mind flare we know. It's been understood that they're just merely beasts.
And all I'm saying is this. You can't simply say, no more of this.
Right.
Unless you have an alternative. Because there are 3 alternatives. You shun them from your society, force them out, or they will hold a grudge and will come back and will just remain a threat forever, but now with a vengeance. You'll live amongst your society, slowly doing what mind flayers do, drain your brain to self-replicate themselves. Or 3, you eradicate them, which, look at the drow. What do you think they're gonna do? If you tell them they can't do slavery anymore, those are their options.
Maybe we should...
Which one do you think they're going to pick?
Is it
Think about the next step and not just complain about this one.
Right.
That's what I've had to do for the past week, and it sucks.
Okay, so here's how I look at it. Really depends on how they're using them. And again, they're practically merely beasts. They've never done anything useful for any of one of our nations, except for your friend there. Is he gonna be alright if the brain was destroyed?
He's already free of the hive mind.
So he won't even lose anything if it was destroyed. But so I know you think in a broad sense that slavery is bad, but if we're talking about things that are practically just beasts and animals,
His people are going to be griffin riders.
right?
Like, that's... Griffins are kind of smart. Like, I'm not...
It's like enslaving a devil.
It's like if somebody...
Come on.
If you had thrown a lasso over the Tarrasque and said, it deserves a chance to live too, is what you're kind of doing right now. And I understand. Slavery is kind of fucked up.
I think we're already pushing it by
Exactly.
bringing the drow into this.
If we ask them to do anything else, remember, every argument is compromise. So if we get them to stop doing a thing that they want to do, the compromise is they're going to do it their way. And think about it. The dwarves inhabit the underground as well. They're going to be fine with the mass execution of the mind flayers. Privence is right there. They'll probably be right behind it too.
Yeah.
So if you call for a vote on the cancellation of the slavery of these things, which, don't get me wrong, I think everyone needs to know about.
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be a topic we need to discuss.
Exactly. But if we call a vote to eradicate their slavery, their next vote, their way of handling it, I guarantee it, will be genociding them.
We also got to make sure that, we're talking without knowledge. They know more about the mind flayers than any one of us.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in a prime position to lie
That is true.
and hold a lot against us. So we have to make sure we keep a sound base here.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I didn't want to immediately hop on this conversation
Right.
in front of everyone. I think it's been 5 minutes.
It sure has.
And then everyone regathers, having freshly pissed and gotten spirits or water or what have you. And everybody re-attends their seats. And there's a Harran stands up. Well, that concludes the 7.5 minute long recess. Now, before we continue, there was something, well, not the Cringe Foundation, but Basco had said that, well, the 3 of you had something you wished to state. Basco stands. Yes, in our travels, we've uncovered a few things about the drow. Guys, would you like to enlighten them? And he goes and sits down.
The King of Therowen, everyone. Here, here. Korvac, would you?
God damn it, dude.
No.
Alright, no, it's alright.
So the Drow have the mind flayers enslaved by keeping their brain,
The elder brain.
the elder brain, hostage. We don't know what they're doing.
Everybody roll perception checks. You're not there yet, I'm sorry.
Can I smell this? No.
Dirty
I
20.
smell. I
Sure.
smell fear.
You have heightened perception.
Never mind. I rolled 2
You can
6s.
still roll perception. It just won't be what's going on.
13.
Dirty 20.
You're too focused on giving your talk.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty 20. Thoreau is kind of shifting a little bit. A little uneasy.
Mm.
So is the rest of the room. There's a lot of murmuring, especially with Dabin. He's just kind of like, oh, we've only ever dealt with them a long time ago. It's been a long time since we've had them in our parts. Can't say we don't appreciate it. That sounds... Well, what else have you found, boy?
Can I roll a history check? I think that's pretty much the biggest secret.
No, I just didn't know if there was... He didn't want to, finish up...
Well,
you did
yeah.
kind of just say they took the brain.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much all we know.
Well, then say that.
That's all we've heard. Not entirely sure what you would do with a bunch of mind flayers. Just kind of hoping maybe we could find out.
Pasco stands up again. We heard from a reliable source that they basically were using their abilities to help expand, proliferate, basically use them as scouting forces. It's easy to take charge of, the monsters in front of you if you just turn them into more mind flayer slaves for your army. And he kind of looks at the drow a little bit and just, gives a, that sounded bad, but, I meant it, but I also want to backpedal, because he's Basco, and
Yeah.
that's what he does.
Yeah.
But he, and then he sits back down again.
That seems rather dangerous, and you're not in a position where this could backfire on you guys, right?
Well, in an undisclosed location, somewhere in our home, there's a room. And if he acts up, or there's any iota of rebellion in his people, their one surviving elder brain is destroyed. Granted, that does ruin our hold over them. It is one of those sort of, if you pull the trigger, what do you have left after that? But without a hive mind, without a host, without some guidance, they'll be too distraught to put up too strong of a resistance. Besides, all of them are collared, and if any of them need to be eliminated, they will be.
Really?
What?
They have the self-destruct collar, do they?
Explosive collar.
Yes, they do. It's... Well, I don't want to get into the details, but not only is there a minor explosion, the majority of the damage comes in the psionics that go with it, leaving them just almost nothing. Ty looks around and is like, does anyone think that might be a little extreme?
I raise my hand.
Okay, not just me.
I-
Takashi and Urgot also kind of like, it's kind of fucked a little bit.
It's the same persecution that, we used to put upon the Drow.
Well, I wouldn't say that extreme. And
Not at all.
The Drow are also a civilized people.
Also, yeah, what do you think happened with the Drow, bud?
So basically, all we know is the city was dropped on them on accident, and they were
They took,
population controlled a few times.
yeah, like they got so fucking pissed off about like the fact that their city was destroyed with like no reverence at all. They executed all the construction workers and then kind of attacked Privence a little bit before they realized it was an accident, but they still receded. Then Privence a few times were like, they're looking a little too strong, and then kind of like had a war with them just to keep their fucking numbers down.
Mm-hmm.
So they are like, a little upset. Like it wasn't like we fucking they weren't enslaved or anything like that. They never were at odds. In fact, they never really took any time to ask any questions. It's just sort of like we're clearly enemies, right?
Right.
Well, it's simple as this. We've been at war with them for some time. They've wanted to kill us for quite a long time. So, why kill an enemy when you can gain an ally? We were at war with them, and now they are our foot soldiers. Would you prefer we have eradicated them slowly over time? Because that's what was slowly happening.
Well,
You all didn't care when we killed all the other Elder Brains in the area, but we enslaved the last one. And now that's the problem? And there's still murmuring like, yeah! Like everybody kind of see, like there's like, Urgot is kind of like, do you not see how that's like kind of worse a little bit?
Am I the only one to understand them as more or less beasts that must be destroyed?
Dabin's like, oh, aye, lad. I'm with you on this one. Kylan shakes his head. I'd rather someone kill them and get rid of them. If you want to use them as a boot heel, fine. But I'd rather that than have to fight them myself eventually.
They are rather terrifying, nightmarish creatures.
Correct. They come from a horrible place.
Right. It is rather alarming to think that the Drow have them as soldiers, though.
Oh, yeah. Especially when we inhabit an underground with them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we are part of the same kingdom, you won't have to worry about that, will you? In fact, they will be your soldiers, technically, won't they?
Fucking hate Cardassian.
Is there any knowledge on whether or not these mind flayers can be used to control a different population outside of beasts?
Quite.
Quite. You can see why that's a little alarming.
Well, let's make some sort of pact, an agreement here. Put down restrictions if you see fit. I understand. We're coming into your fold. And I know our politics do not align with yours.
Right. I can't say that I don't like the idea of using it.
The fan.
Yeah, I can't say that I don't like the idea. Oh, stretching. Don't mind me.
Falls over.
Whoop. All right, but
Yes.
maybe we should limit the size of this army.
So, population control. And he kind of says with a grimace, and he looks at you with a wink.
Would you be opposed to that?
Roll insight.
But like, it's not population control against the Drow again.
Oh, he was just doing a snide remark
Yeah.
to kind of be like, oh, we've had these conversations before.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you get that he was just trying to chide you for
Gotcha.
saying a term for a horrible thing that was done to his people.
Right. I mean, it was a horrible thing that happened, but again, for civilized people, the mind flayers are beasts.
Yes, we are civilized people. But you must realize that our civilization is different than yours. We go to bed with beasts at our doorstep that you can't even perceive or conceive.
Probably. We've dealt with a few eldritch horrors, though.
I know, but I mean your people in general. Your average man.
Oh, I see, yes. That makes sense.
Our children grow up to be brave soldiers because they know if they aren't, well, you see what happens to our people for simply growing in population. We're tough, and because of that, our views are different than yours.
So, your goal, as you said, is to use these to conquer the undergrounds. Maybe we can restrict them to those front lines and leave them out of anywhere civilized?
Major cities?
Yeah. Major cities, the tunnels that you agreed to protect, where people would be passing through. I imagine they can do quite twisted things.
I have some questions, and pardon me if I'm if I'm ignorant
Yes.
of what I'm going to say. But the Elder Brain, the Elder Brain, has the influence over everyone, right? Of all the mind flayers.
Of the remaining, yes.
What if we were able to, what if we were able to convince the Elder Brain to control the mind flayers in a way that is not harmful towards us, which allows them to.
Does anybody want to explain that one, Tim?
So, here's the thing. The question isn't whether or not the mind flayers are going to fuck us over, it's whether or not the Drow are going to fuck us over with the mind flayers. They have full control over the mind flayers.
They're doing exactly what you just described already. That's what you guys are discussing.
We're just worried about, like, hey, in the future,
You guys have the remote control.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are now two civilizations on top of each other.
Yeah.
And one of them's pretty fucking nasty.
Yeah. And having mind flayers in the vicinity of just normal folk can really probably fuck up the, just in a subtle way even, probably fuck them up and just cause chaos that way.
They're like one of the ultimate saboteurs if you think about them. Because you just get them in a town and they will drain one of their brains to make a new one. And then that one does the same. And then before you know it, two become two people, invite two people, who invite another two people.
So that's the thing, like, we need to restrict them, or they're either not a lot of them, or they're just nowhere near civilizations. And they're just literally used as cannon fodder, essentially, in the underground.
Well, eventually they'll get to a point where we expand that, well, the Elder Brain we have will become of no use. They'll be either too far from it, or be there too many of them. We've made preparations whenever that happens. Our society would have supposedly gotten to the point where it's stronger to the point that we don't need them anymore, and they will be heavily restricted to closer to the capital duties. In our own city, of course. We don't ever intend to have them on the ground.
Oh, you mean above?
Yes.
Well,
Except in very rare cases when, well, someone has to go and we can't go ourselves, because, of course, you must understand why.
they don't suffer the same consequences.
They suffer some, but why would we care?
So what you're telling me is that there is already an effective limit because you only have one brain.
Yes.
How many would that be, you think?
Like I said, we don't know if we're going to deal with a numbers problem, a volume problem, a distance problem. We'll only know when we get there.
I look towards the rest of the leaders. I'm like, we all have our weapons, our secrets. Is anybody opposed to the Drow using this to help expand their underground?
Urgot raises his hand as the representative of Urbis Grabah. And that is it. And I say Basco does as well.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Do either of you raise your hand?
Oh, great.
Remember, it's whoever's in the room.
Yeah.
Like, these are all very important people. You don't have to worry that you're not, like, King so-and-so. If you want to raise your hand, you can. Okay. Harrion kind of looks around. Raises his hand as well. As much as I disagree, not enough to make a majority.
Right.
It'll be noted who was against, but I think what we've agreed upon is so long as they never reach the surface, and if they do and are used for whatever reason, like you said, the express consent of the governing body that runs the land must be notified immediately,
Mm-hmm.
as well as when you've hit the limit and where you're expanding as you do it. Everybody kind of shakes their head. I will say this. If these rules are violated in any way, I say that we should move to termination.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Is that acceptable to everyone here? And everybody kind of say aye or nay. Ayes. Aye.
Ayes.
And then a lot of ayes and then nays. Pretty much just Urgot. But that was kind of more... He's not trying to stop it. He's just, he's just a humble farmer.
Yeah. Well, can I roll insight on Harrion and Vasco, as I'm imagining their thoughts are that they don't believe the Drow will keep control of them.
Go ahead.
And they're worried that Eldritch horrors are afoot.
Sure. Yeah.
So, 17?
14.
There's reasons why they gave already set up preconceived notions for if things go awry.
Mm-hmm.
But they also know that this is going to happen whether they say they agree to it or not, and want to put as many asterisks on it as they can.
Okay.
You both can get that.
Yeah.
Just Basco's a good friend from you. You get it more from Harrion and Basco, but you can read that from Basco.
Okay.
Today we've made a great mistake, probably, but we'll worry about that in the future.
Davin goes home. I have become death, destroyer of mind flayers. Who knows? Maybe it'll be something your children's children will have to deal with. We'll deal with that when we get to campaign 2 or 3 or 4. Who knows?
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. But as of right now,
Hey, if we fuck up,
through great inspiration of the characters, we're now discussing a one-world government. Didn't expect that to happen.
if we fuck up this world, we can just dip out to another world.
Hey, we don't like what happened to the campaign.
Whoa!
Oh, hold
We're
on.
gonna time skip 150 years, see if things get a little bit more interesting. Alright, we'll see you guys in campaign 2. I go to the Western Isles, so you get no closure on anything. You son of a bitch! Harrion stands. Is there anything else that needs to be brought to light, discussed, besides why we're all here?
If,
Korvac, you seem like you have something on your mind.
No. If nothing else is to be said, I imagine you're asking how we're gonna unify and who and what and how we're gonna lead. So, I guess I'll start.
Well, that's the concern. I think everyone wants to suggest someone else while secretly wishing to suggest themselves, while at the same time no one wants to start. So my concern is this. Let's go all around the room and suggest how you think things should go. Korvac,
Alright.
go ahead and start. Actually, I say that whatever happens, the central of government should at least be here. We can build accommodations for those rooms as we have with this one. But regardless of whether I become in charge of that or not, I still retain control of this one as the King of Privence, even if that means my job will be stewardly for the higher king.
Bismuth.
What did I say?
Privence. I know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Bismuth. Maximilian's like, the fuck you say? Korvac.
Well, as much as I'd like the idea of we all just come to council, I imagine with the rapid rate we're probably going to be expanding, we're going to need a faster form of making decisions. So I'm going to say a grand leader. If anybody has suggestions of what we would name that, that would be great.
Maximilian kind of is like, well, my suggestion was that, much like what we do at Privence, there would be a council. You all would set the number, of course, elected from members here, or maybe people suggested. And then one chancellor sits above that council and acts as leader for executive decision making. And then the other council acts as a veto in case that becomes necessary. But that's what's worked for us in the past.
Something, this sounds familiar.
Does it?
Ooh.
That's my suggestion. Dabin is just like, well, a king's worked before, a king will work again. Without a lack of any other volunteers, I say I'll do it. I'll be the king.
God, I fucking love this guy and hate him at the same time.
Put me as king of the New World Order. I'll build you as good as I build my steel. And the orc with him is kind of like, oh, shut up.
I lean over to Korvac. He makes a good point. The dwarves do build really well. But my thoughts are, as I believe Basco should be it.
Okay.
He might.
Yeah.
What he lacks in a lot of ways.
What he lacks in almost everything, he makes up for in
Good heart.
heart.
I believe he is the least susceptible to his own power, if that makes sense.
I disagree.
That's really anti-Mac. Mac was always like, "You're losing it, man."
And he always tried to correct himself.
You don't need someone who's learning that.
Yeah.
You need someone who's learned that.
Yeah. So let's just continue here in the suggestions.
Pretty much all of them from that point forward are just saying king with me and Joe. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, fuck, that's evolved real quick.
Fuck, I'm the tiebreaker?
Takashi. It's not much, but maybe a small group of either 2 or 3 who must make decisions amongst themselves and are in charge of everyone. Like the council thing, but instead of one person being above everyone of the group of maybe 5, it's just 2 or 3, and they must always come to an agreement.
And you mean that as it must always be, or 2 versus 1, the 2 would decide kind of thing?
Whatever compromise comes through, but hopefully they'd see that 2 versus 1 would be for the best. These should be good people who understand the good of the land. We'll call it a triumvirate.
A triumvirate.
That's a new idea. Nobody's ever thought of it before.
What if we held an election?
We can't let the stupid people get
The
elected.
CIA, you just disappeared, dude. Sorry.
Alright.
I love that you suggested that once and every leader just laughed at you. Wasn't it you that suggested that? Somebody suggested it at one point, was just like, hey, what if we just let the people decide? And everybody was just like, no. Mac, did you have anything?
literally gonna be what if we let the people decide?
Then do that.
It's gonna be too tough for us to come up with, a decision on our own. What if we let the people decide who the, Grand Poobah of Pangaea should be?
Oh, what are you thinking, lad? That every single person is gonna vote,
Yeah.
and then we're all gonna just count them, every single person, across the whole of Pangaea.
I do love the idea of this. It's like, this is stupid, impossible.
Yeah.
Sure, and everybody from the Fingers will vote for Quarterback, and everyone in Bismuth will vote for Harrian, and everyone in the Undertone will vote. We're not going to achieve anything with that. Urgot also goes in. Well, we also got to determine what level we discuss. The people should have a role. Should we allow them to vote for every decision, or should they elect their own representatives? And then was it supposed to say these representatives are the voice of these people now?
But wouldn't we also be the representatives of our respective peoples?
So we should be voted for? Well, what you're suggesting is anytime something important happens, we all have to reconvene and make the vote again? So basically, your ultimate idea is to just keep doing with what we're doing right now. Forever?
But
I mean, it's still a suggestion. Nobody's dissing anything right now. We're still at the pitch and ideas part. But is that what you're suggesting? Like kind of what we're doing now, but for everything important?
I've been thinking about that 3-person thing.
I think, now that I think about it, ultimately we should act as the representatives of our people, and the majority vote should be what passes.
So, like what we're doing
Yes.
right here. Thank you.
Okay.
But the Drow get less of a vote. 3/5 or something.
That's fucked up, dude.
That's fucked up. So, you want to elaborate on the 3? How would we choose them? Would we choose them
Well-
by region?
Whatever we would pick, we'd pick it now. I wasn't suggesting anything, but supposedly maybe one person per region, or whoever we think amongst the 3 of us here, the most graceful. I would suggest, for me personally, if I were to pick, I would say, he looks around, myself, of course, Crench, and Maximilian. The 3 of us would do a good job. Davin's like, oh, of course, your idea would have you being in charge. Basker's like, it wasn't your idea to be in charge? Well, of course. That's what kings do, lad.
Cringe, huh?
I
Is
would.
that something you would be into, Cringe?
Ruling the world.
Just a third of it?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
I assume Sabor is also out.
Savor's like kind of anxiously like, Crench is just like,
That was a cruel joke.
no, no, I'll pass.
Yeah. I do kind of like the idea of the 3. We just need to decide.
Frampt is like, oh, we don't even get a voice over here, the free people of Marymount.
Well, you were free to say anything.
Well, you're already jumping to,
I'm just-
picking a triumvirate.
I'm just saying I like the idea of the 3. What is your decision?
Well, I was going to suggest we just keep doing this, if I'm being honest, which was then kind of what the little fellow over there's idea was.
I still think the council is the best idea.
Ty immediately interjects, yes, but how long would that take? Look how long we're taking to decide on this. Sometimes direct action is required. Sometimes we need to have someone who can just say, we need someone to do this.
And we would afford a portion of our economy and armies to this one person.
Maybe
Or
not
3.
necessarily. Maybe not necessarily. But of course they'll be able power to gain their own army, and of course there'd be one for this government.
Mm.
But who's to say that has to pull from our own? We all act as agents for them.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern is if we pick a supreme ruler to rule over all of us, and we give him the power to make those decisions, we would need a guarantee that those decisions would be for the best.
And I guarantee that there would be.
And all.
And I would also suggest that it be me.
The thing is like if you're
Or
worried,
someone else who we can all say will be equally just and fair.
If we're worried about a tyrant,
Bismuth, Harrion kind of looks around and says, the people of Bismuth don't worry about a tyrant for me.
well, what about your son or your grandson? You don't know exactly how they're going to turn out.
You're rolling the dice every time.
Exactly. Things have been going so well, so far, for a lot of us.
That is true. And that's what makes it so difficult. Each one of us having a different government, and they all seem to work to their degree.
And what we are all establishing is that everyone will be continuing their own government, but there will just be one operating as an overseer for all. So everyone will still, it's not like the fingers will lose their individuality. You will still lead them,
Mm-hmm.
as Gavin will still lead the dwarfs and the Underdome. But we just have to find out how we all, in this room, form decisions.
What about one leader, 20-year term limit?
One man has all the power, but for 20 years? What if he doesn't give it up?
And we would break into civil war.
Mm.
2 people.
No.
Now we're on a triumvirate again.
Yeah.
Like a ruler and then a vice ruler.
What if a president and a vice president,
Mm-hmm.
but they had a senate?
Mm-hmm.
And then both of them, if they were to die, whoever was the leader of the council would then start you doing.
That's
their-
nonsense. That will never work.
Should be a House of Representatives and a Senate. The Senate is chosen by rich people, and then we give the poor people representation, air quotations.
But we get to draw the map.
exactly
So it's whatever we want them to be.
And then we just create fake rules, like make it so it has to be a supermajority for any law to pass.
And I just want to say is we should definitely make sure that the mind flayers only count as what? 2/5 of a person?
That's the third time we've made that joke, guys. It's not going to get better. Chill the fuck out.
It doesn't even make sense in the context.
No.
Uh,
Who hasn't gone? Lilith goes, I like the idea of the group every few years coming together and electing a new official.
how many years we talking?
Well, we could either do the lifetime of the ruler, but that gets tricky. Say, like, if a goblin gets in charge versus an elf getting in charge. $10 years? 5 years?
10 years?
15? Barring, of course, an emergency meeting by the council suggesting that a new leader be picked.
In case of, say, for instance, those with shorter lifespans reach a state of senile
Or tyranny.
or tyranny.
Is my main concern. However, I do have to say, though, that that does lead for the options for civil unrest eventually, but pretty much all of these have a little bit of that.
There's always a risk. Well, you guys have a lot of history. What problems have you guys had with your governments?
Lilith is the runner of the Spire,
So Mardeketh.
Yeah, she's just put in temporary control of the spire. So she has no information for what you just asked.
I didn't mean her. I was directing it to everybody.
Oh. Everyone kind of looks to each other. It's like, Davin's like, this is the first time we've ever done this, lad.
No, I meant like civil unrest. You guys never had any problems with that before.
Well, the civil unrest is different when I can just be like, okay, quiet down. But when the civil unrest is me wanting to kick your head in, that's slightly different. Because now you're not talking a king to the people. It's a slightly higher king to two different kings. You see why that might be problematic, lad.
That is different.
Which is why you need a strong leader in charge. Maybe someone like Davin Gatford. Me.
Something about this makes me think you're not going to like the outcome of
How would you make the lives of the people of Pangaea better?
Well, now that we finally have one government, trade will travel more freely, I imagine, and thus those in need will get more food and supplies that they actually need. That will be priority number one, as is getting the world ready for Malin and what's happening outside. Gross expansion on all accounts, but making sure the little guy isn't looked over.
This man's a fancy talker, man.
A politician? I mean, I agree with everything you just said. Do we... let's be honest.
Everybody's just like, I think I want to make Davin Gorford the king.
I'll be honest with you. It's hard for anybody to put trust into each other, so I vote for Davin.
I was just like, what if, man? What if?
I gotta say, at least he's putting his foot forward and saying what he would do for Pangaea, and that's why we're all
Ty is just like, nobody asked me what I would do. I just suggested me and we all looked over it.
What would you do with a centralized government?
Well, I'd do all the things Davin just said, that's for sure.
But why would I vote for you?
Because I'm saying I'd do the exact same thing he would, and you said you'd vote for him.
Now, Davin, if he said that he was going to do the exact same thing you did, what would you do to do better than him?
This is like gonna lead into empty promises anytime soon.
Well, first and foremost, lad, I wouldn't say that. But even if I did, I would also say that, you know, my people have lived under the ground, and we've flourished. We've given some of the best steel. Privens will tell you that. So because of that, I'll make sure our people are both secure and strong in the economy. Which is what we have to really consider, seeing as how we don't know what's on the other side of those mountains.
I mean, we're all in agreement. If he fucks up, we can just vote him out.
Well, you know, what if you need the whole 10 years? 15 years?
20.
So you're just
Maybe, boy, maybe.
So you're just kicking that can down the road on the expectation.
What is a drop in the bucket to me is a lifetime for others, lad.
Yep. I never considered Davin as being well connected with the world, but it makes sense. It's like out
He's
of
literally in the world.
well, the thing is, it's like out of the leaders who probably have the most understanding about all of Pangaea, it probably goes Privens, Bismuth, and apparently the Undertone. Maybe. I don't know enough about the islands. I don't know what they're.
A lot of the metals you guys have are being shipped to the Undertone for production of
yeah,
resources.
yeah. So they definitely.
Maximilian kind of chimes in. I know things look like. I know I would be a good leader, but at the same time, I think it would make more sense that I remain a leader in the economy rather than a leader of, well, the world. I don't wish for those two things to coincide with one another, so I put my hat out of the ring.
And this was
Maximilian.
Maximilian Privens.
Yeah. However, I do think that if we do the council thing, I would sit on it, but I would not be the leader over anyone. Harrion stands. You know how we did a 5... Sorry.
true Polydor!
You know how we did a 5-minute recess earlier?
Yes,
I think we all need a day.
A day. Okay.
I agree.
Console, leader.
How many days do you have left, by the way?
I have.
6 hours.
I gotta.
Hey everyone, I gotta go.
I gotta go.
I have some werewolves I have to control.
So tomorrow night.
I'm just like, I sure hope this next meeting doesn't take very long.
Spooked by the bell episode coming up.
Ugh.
Does anyone have anything against this? Everyone kind of shakes their head.
I think it's a good idea.
Then, Cringe stands. Same time tomorrow. But first, make sure you all talk to your people. A lot of hate, dissent was spread. They think we're against them. I know I've said my piece to the people. But make sure you all do the same as well. And everybody kind of says here. Thoreau is the first one to stand up. I must go to the drow immediately. A lot has been discussed, and the leaders must be informed. And then him and his guard immediately.
He didn't speak up a lot during that whole part. I was kind of hoping he would.
Well, he's obviously not going to say we should be in charge.
No.
We just got here.
Nobody had it.
What's if the drow? Yeah, he's right.
You all take your time. You all eventually leave. Is there anybody you wish to just talk with beforehand? Maximilian's there. I know you said you guys wanted to talk to people at Prince for a little bit, especially since you saw him do the thing and you thought that was him getting the crown, but the crown was already at.
Yeah. There's that. I think I want to talk to Harrion.
Okay. Everyone's kind of lingering except for the drow to kind of discuss things and plans. Nobody seems outwardly aggressive with one another, but there is still that kind of like, ooh, dinner's ready. Let's discuss things with everybody to kind of gain political favor.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way to Harrion. He's got some guards with him, some paladins, but other than that, it's just him. Korvac, good to see you as always.
Good to see you.
What can I do for you?
I just wanted to clear some things up with you. When I agreed to let the drow have the mind flayers as foot soldiers, were you more worried of them using it against us or them losing control of them?
Korvac, if what they say is true, the mind flayers' numbers have never been lower.
Okay.
I think we should just take that in stride.
Okay.
On top of that, the second that they lose control,
So,
in this government, we now have the authority to get rid of it.
yep. And I'm glad you made sure to put that in there.
I don't know if they're going to lose control of it, but something is going to happen.
I imagine something will, but I'm just hoping the benefits outweigh the negatives that are probably going to be down the road.
I don't want to say whatever it takes for peace, but something similar to that.
And, is it true that you'd be comfortable with another man sitting in your city?
He'd be sitting in my city, I'd build a throne for him. He wouldn't be sitting in my family's throne. He represents an authority above my city, but I still remain a king of mine.
You've changed.
I have to.
I'm glad to see it.
It's kind of all because of you. Well, you all.
Yeah.
The numbers have changed, but so have ours.
Well, it was nice seeing you again, Harrion.
And as to you, I have to mingle now.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
Nice.
60. He's got 69 gold.
Nice.
Well, 269 gold.
No.
Alright. And if possible, if I can catch Maximilian, or is he already on his way out?
No, he's lingering. He's got a lot of business. You know, he's been without contact for some time
Okay.
because Prince-Princess's been, you know, trapped fighting Mardukets with undead armies. But he's having some talks. You know, he's clearly hedging over some negotiations with some people. And you make your approach to him, and he turns. Ah, the lords of Castle Backstreet.
Hmm.
Nice to see you again. How can the Viscount help?
Well, I was just kind of curious about a thing I might have seen a little while ago.
Oh, my friend.
So, on our travels to
Rasalama.
Rasalama, thank you. I noticed a very bright glint coming from a caravan of sorts.
You immediately see kind of an eyebrow raised. Like,
Mhm.
oh.
I was just curious as to, was that part of the whole crown ritual, or was that
Oh,
something
my
else?
friend, that was something else entirely.
Something else entirely.
An old, well, ritual, tradition. He kind of looks out. Something important. All the same.
What was it?
Well, persuasion. Thanks for not rolling into the dice camp, by the way.
18.
He kind of looks to you. An old man must have his secrets. But as the world is turning now, I don't think it'll remain a secret for much longer. Don't worry. Nothing malice, nothing bad. Just an old man. Having his fun and honoring an age-old tradition. Is there anything else this one can help you with?
No. I just wanted to try to satiate a curiosity I saw on my travels. That's all, my friend.
God, you've tickled the lore bard's balls here, dude. Pardon my...
You know where it is. If you want to do your fucking own research, you can.
Hmm.
You know where they were heading.
Okay.
Just like everything in this world.
Yeah.
You know where it is, dude.
We both just immediately teleport.
Is there anyone else you wish to discuss things with
No.
before you take your day-long hiatus
No, I think that's it.
and reconvene at noon again the next day?
Yes.
Where do you go?
Well, before we leave, I go up to Vasco, and I present to him 2 goblets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was wondering when I was getting these. House Carl, put these in the funds. And he gives them. Of course, sir. Of course. And he just puts them in a bag he has with him.
You know, I almost thought he was going to ask you for interest.
So, how much is the funds worth nowadays?
Right now, let me get an accurate count.
50K.
50,002 gold.
He kept those 2 gold. The royal treasury is made up entirely of fake money.
I don't have a treasury.
It's the funds, dude.
That's just my funds. It's
Your bank
my
account.
house funds. Yeah.
Your house funds.
I don't think that royal family has an account. They just kind of take care of me. It's a pretty sweet gig.
God.
I lean over to Cormac and it really makes me mad that he can't even make his own fucking money.
Is there anything else you want to do here?
I give Vasco a hug.
He thanks you for his gifts.
If you ever need House Fleetfoot, you know who to ask.
Of course, ma'am. And if you ever need Theriwill, you know where to go. And he makes his way. So where do you guys go? You got 24 hours.
Hey, can I roll a history check to find out where Brian's character
I would like to use Wish to find Brian.
Brian is at the hanging tree in the Wildwood, as he always is, running his bar.
Oh, God.
Well, Korvac, what do you want to do? We got a day. You want to head back to Castle Backstreet? You want to go to the Finger? You want to go to Brian's?
I really want to get like just one day where I just hunt something. So,
Go to the
Full
Feywilds.
rack of
That's
ribs.
like a 20-minute adventure.
Full rack of ribs.
You go to the Feywilds, Korvac. It's literally a 20-minute adventure. What is the worst that could happen?
20 minutes in and out. We'll never miss this meeting, probably. what's the worst that could happen?
I think we can do it.
We can't.
I got all my spell slots for today. You've got enough wax.
Of course.
Hey, I'm trying to introduce another character, and your plan is to go completely to the other side of the planet where no one else is.
All right.
Good call, man. Thanks. Way to be a bro.
Let's
Sorry, Brian, couldn't get to you this week.
Yeah. Next
They
week.
decided to explore uncharted territory.
I thought maybe he's there. though. All right, but
If he was there, there'd be a call to adventure there. I'm not gonna just be like, guess where Brian is.
all right.
It's like a fucking old school video game. Like we just need the player's guide, dude.
You just need to play.
Let's
Let me take care of the rest. Yep, that's important. Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah.
You ruined another nat 20.
Oh, damn it. If we bumped into it, it doesn't count. It's not real.
No, that's probably foolish. We know how time crap is time crap. We don't want to
What were you gonna suggest?
go into the Fae. It's like we don't know what they can do. So let's just go to Crinches.
Sure.
Just take it easy for a sec. Then decide what we're gonna do.
I think that's a wise move.
Alright. Let's hit up Crinch and head out with him. If he hasn't already left.
Crinch is already left. He was one of the first ones to leave.
Alright. Well, we don't want to miss our boat, guys.
Did you guys take the boat here?
Not the boat. I was in reference to his castle.
Oh, okay.
We teleported from his castle.
Yeah.
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 So where are you guys going?
We're going to Crinches via teleport.
Okay. Sorry. Not yet.
Oh. Yeah.
Why would he be in Crinch's castle?
You're right. That makes sense.
Backstreet. Let's just go to Backstreet.
Too late. You've already said Crinch's castle. You guys need to stop guessing where he's at and
Mhm.
just tell me where you want to go. You said you're going to Crinch's? We'll go to Crinch. That's where it's happening.
Okay.
You go to Crinch's castle. He's there. He's kind of reconvening with everybody that wasn't there. Savor was there. Him, Savor, and April were kind of the only representatives, and he was kind of just going over everything. Eyes you guys coming in. Oh, Mark! Borback wasn't expecting you here. What can we do for you?
Oh, we just got some time to kill. I was wondering maybe if you're not busy, we could all go to Brian's. It's been a minute since you've been there.
Crinch is like, yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it, right?
Everybody wants to go to Brian's. And it was just like, yeah, all right. They shake their head like, we've got a day. April's like, we have the day. And it's not like, I thought this would last a lot longer.
Yes, my investment grows more.
Anybody opposed? Nope. Savor, Rainey, Quincy, Clavdak, Korvac, April. Yeah, hold on. 1, 2. April, Crinch, Savor, Rainey, Clavdak, Quincy. Yeah, that's 10. Yeah. Alright. You guys use your teleportation circle. You shoosh your way. Okay. So, you make your way to Brian's. And you, where do you go to Brian's, by the way? Where, do you go into the front gate? Do you teleport in through, where are you going?
Front gate.
Do they have a circle yet?
No.
Okay.
But it's kind of a location, so, you can teleport to there. But everybody kind of fights in and then out from, so it's kind of its own. Like, nobody likes to teleport. It's part of the adventure. Part of the adventure is getting to it.
Okay.
I think the front gate would be a bit rude to just appear in front of a room with 10 people.
A room. It's like, this is it. This is the room we take.
Somebody is sleeping in it.
You make your way through. It's quieter. It was quieter than the other day because, civil unrest and everyone's at odds and, no one knows what fucking tomorrow is bringing. And then you walk into the bar and it's Brian and, oh my god, what did I say the other fucking bartender's name was? I wrote it down, but it's unimportant.
Oh yeah.
But Brian's there. He all welcomes you in, gets you guys settled with some drinks. Oh, yes, lads. Wasn't expecting you. It's been such a quiet day. Banana daiquiris for everybody.
Banana daiquiris.
Banana daiquiris. And he starts going to his mull and starts going and grinding. And at that point, a bugbear bursts through the front door of Brian's. Go.
Okay.
You found them exactly how you said you found them last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thirsty, man.
Everybody stops and turns to me because you're like,
Hello.
describe yourself first and foremost.
Alright, I am a very tall, slender bugbear. I guess you could think like Bigfoot-esque.
Bigfoot ass. How close are your knuckles to the floor?
Well, they have long arms that extend
Yeah.
5 feet, so pretty darn close.
Yeah.
How many millimeters in size are your feet?
About 1,200.
So,
Are you like the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
you said millimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1,200 would be 1.2 meter long feet.
What's a meter?
Meters like this.
Almost, it's bigger than a yard.
Oh, so over 3 feet.
Yeah. Let's just say they're large feet. They haven't been measured yet, like that. Describe yourself. He's not wearing traditional garb. It's all
Just like nature.
It's all clothing he seems to have been slapped together himself. Half dash, I've like, oh, this tore, but I sewed it together, and it is just not great sewing at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, like, oh, I didn't have paint, but I made this dye from stuff I squished together, and, I like it. It's all right. It's not meant for really any sort of style. He's not trying to make himself look good. It's just like, I know I need to be wearing clothing, and I don't give a fuck, so I've made clothing for myself.
Nice.
He also has... Is your jar visible?
Would it have to be?
It doesn't have to be if you don't want it. You can have it in a bag if you want.
Yeah, it's in a bag.
Alright. Anything else you want to describe about yourself?
Um,
That is odd and apparent when...
He's got a jaw.
No, just a giant forehead,
Yeah, sure. So go ahead. Talk for the
All right.
first time as... Well, I don't want to say your name just yet.
Do I introduce myself?
Well, you've just traveled the way that you travel.
Mm-hmm.
And you have arrived here, and you caught them walking into Brian's,
Mhm.
and you were like, these are the people I gotta,
Yeah.
So you're excited. You've just barged through the door, and now you're like, ah, so.
Alright, let's do this. I've been looking for you guys. I've been running through trees all night trying to find you.
Cringed immediately. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a bad way to introduce
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, buddy? What is that supposed to mean?
I am Longstepper.
No. You wouldn't know that that's your name.
I wouldn't know that's my name.
You're kind of slowly putting together that that's what people have called you. Remember, that's not your name.
That is
That's your...
nickname. Like,
Bigfoot's name would be Kyle. He wouldn't know people call him Bigfoot.
oh, right. Okay. I feel you.
I'm Bigfoot. What? That's what you guys have been calling me?
Yeah.
No, my name's Keith, you know?
I presume you're a druid.
I am. My name is Stoth.
Yes, lad, why are you here?
My home was burnt down in the forest of...
Well, hold on. Remember, they were there. You saw them there.
I saw them there.
You don't need to explain it to them because they were there already. You could mention that. It wasn't the forest, it was a grove.
It was a grove.
That's what it was called, the grove.
That's my home.
One of.
Okay.
Your home was wherever... You're like a rolling stone.
Yeah. I had made home in the grove until... Mordeketh? Mordeketh.
We've done that a lot.
Mordeketh sent his troops in to burn it down. So I was forced to evacuate, and I saw you two great heroes come in and help. After you guys left, I was wandering around.
Remember, that happened when you were in the grove.
In the grove.
Yeah, that happened while you were in the grove.
Okay, I found that.
Yeah, and you just never really told anybody about it.
But that is how I found them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that guy kind of was just like, hey, you should find these people and talk to them about it. And when you were in the Exville, in the great exorcism of the grove, you're like, hey, it's those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've been looking for them ever since.
Okay.
Because somebody showed you an image of the people. Hey, if you want to find the answers to this thing, which is you kind of do, because you're like, what is this thing? You was just like, you got to find these people, and you were like, yeah, whatever. I don't see people. And then Marduketh's simulacrum showed up, and you were like, well, this sucks. You fled, and you saw these guys, and you're like, hey, those are the guys that I have to find. But you couldn't get to them because everything was on fire. Everyone was worried about exfilling. They were fighting a foe. You were fighting foes. They ended up leaving, but you've been farsepping and traveling via plants from location ever since, basically looking for them. And you've just now discovered them.
Real aside, I imagine that would be very difficult with the amount of times we teleport. It's just like, find the path.
Yes, he basically is like, I know a tree here because I've been here, so we'll travel via plants to that location. They're like, oh fuck, I just missed them.
What is the first noticeable thing about Stoff? Like, if you were to walk into a room, what would you
Well,
know?
firstly, immediately, Crinch looks and was like, oh my god, it's the long stepper.
Long stepper?
You will have gotten people kind of like, long stepper? Like, no one's inherently addressed that to your face, but now that you've been like traveling through society, especially since you're going to Therawil, you've heard that term be thrown your way.
Because like I've been excluded, not like excluded, but like in isolation, just kind of.
He
wandering.
basically has for a long, long time been an elusive druid, just traveling through the grove.
Just touching plants because that helps me in the future.
And it's just one of those like,
Plants.
is that it? No. Just an elusive bugbear going through the woods. Is that the long stepper?
But
Is that the long stepper?
Since the fires, like all eyes have been on me, which is like another reason why I want to like find you guys, because I also want to settle this in order to go back to my isolation and
Dude,
have peace.
I like the idea of like Rixel having a fuzzy picture of him in his archive.
This I've always wanted to find. Whatever this is, all photos of him are just mildly blurry.
Oh my god, if we do like Finding Bigfoot, you send Crud out to the woods like you must replicate him. So, mister.
Are you the false stepper?
I am the long stepper, as I've been heard, or I've heard lately.
That's. Oh my god, the rumors are true. I always thought it was a legend.
Do,
You can just call me Stoth.
Roll history. Not looking great.
7.
Nope.
24.
Yeah. You've heard talks of a long, lanky character of unknown sorts just traveling through the woods. Maybe it's a tall monkey, skinny monkey. Maybe it's just a gaunt bugbear. It's hard to determine, but the rumors have gone for so long, everybody just thought maybe it's crazy loon here or there, but I think maybe a homeless man might have been the source of this rumor for a long time. You don't know 100%, but you have heard the rumor before of some being known as the Long Stepper.
So, Mr. Stoff, how can we help you today? Presumably, we can put the axes away?
Everybody's just like, can we? Is that why you needed to see us, lad?
I need to join you guys
Oh?
Why?
because I think our quests are going to align.
God, it's been
Are
a
you
while.
awesome?
And on that, I think we'll take our break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've had that kind of level of like storybook. Like, okay, this makes sense.
I wasn't expecting Bigfoot, I will be honest, but I love it.
He was just, I was like, we could make, do you mind dropping the thing? Thank you. We can all now vacate ourselves. I'll do what I must with that. But well done, everybody. Thank you for being patient.
No doubt.
As we discuss the inner workings of politics.
Now we're gonna do Bigfoot Adventure for the next
Now we're gonna do Bigfoot Adventure. We got to it, don't worry.
We're gonna miss tomorrow's meeting. We're trapped in like the 8th dimension fighting the Loch Ness Monster and Paul McCartney. They call me the Wanderer.
Most important part.
Yeah.
The most important meal of the day.
So, just so we're clear, we want the red light. It's good.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me,
Oh, I flipped it up.
what'd you do?
I flipped up the camera.
Oh, I thought you said you fucked it up. I'm
I
like,
broke
what?
everything.
Hey, I fucked it up.
It's just on fire.
I disconnected the stream. Hold on. Here we are.
I'm glad you picked up what I was doing.
What is that from?
Why is it blanking now?
Isn't
Isn't that a... Well, it's just Mozart.
Yeah.
It's just one of Mozart's things. His famous one.
Say this.
Alright, moving on.
We just had a moment. I'm sorry.
The Cringe Foundation is in Brian's Tavern. Brian is a giant ape who was awakened by a druid long ago who runs one of the most successful taverns inside the Wildwood, which is an expediatory kind of like adventure zone now that like there's a shit ton of monsters constantly in the world. And he is at the halfway point. You can get safety and lodging. 3 ogres help him, as does a bartender and a few barmaids now. Brian is an aloof, fun guy. Everybody kind of knows about Brian. I don't know if you did, because you're a loner existing outside of society. But the Cringe Foundation has several members. Cringe himself, half-orc, wizard warrior combo, elegant white gold armor, massive half-orc. His wife, a tiefling, a rogue. His son, a tiefling warlock. His girlfriend, a wood elf ranger with weapons and firearms and things of that nature, as well as the butler, family butler, or essentially Quincy, a human bard wizard combo, and his lover, a Goliath barbarian by the name of Clavdak. That's the whole Cringe Foundation, the family. As well as these 2 adventurers as well with him. They're standing in front of you. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Well, several days at least. But a lot of stopping, resting, and hopping through trees again, hoping to find him.
Alright.
And they're in front of you. Cringe is lowering his weapon. Alright, lad, take a breath. You seem like you have something important to say.
When I was in the grove, wandering around, I found a spot. It was a nice spot. Very relaxing. But then I felt this presence. This energy, if you will. So I started searching for it.
Yes?
And inside this crevice of a tree, I found something seeming to be pushing things out of this reality and also sucking things into this reality. It felt hot, it felt cold. I didn't know what to make of it. So the curiosity in me wanted to explore it. So I reached for it, and a Fey-like being came to me in a dream state.
Go ahead and make a wisdom check. This is going to be your roll plus whatever your wisdom is. Not great. Not great.
Not great.
Make it a wisdom save. I don't know if that helps you anymore.
Wisdom save. Does. So that's 16.
Okay. first, it appears to be some creature that you cannot fathom. Almost, as you reach for it, your eyes kind of blank out, like you're looking through a tunnel, almost as if you're sleeping. And it's a creature at first that you can't perceive, but then it almost seems to be someone in a suit and some sort of hat that you've never seen before. Approaches you and stops you. It's androgynous. You don't know whether it's male or female. But it showed you the image of these two. The clothing was wild and of many vibrant colors and mixed and matched patterns. But you got the sense that the form you were seeing it in was not its true form.
Just something palatable for me.
Yes.
What did it look like?
It looked mysterious. It was of natural garments, it felt like. Stuff that you could find in the wild.
Don't remember.
Okay. Much like what I wear with my humble attire.
And it showed you a vision of us?
It did. It told me that you two would be able to aid me in figuring out what this is.
What did this being sound like?
On the one hand, you don't know if it talked. But on the other hand, you also remember like a booming feeling. And on the one hand, you're like, was that in my head? Or was that its voice? But you're not sure. Because it did feel like a dream when you communicated with it.
Its voice was indistinguishable. It showed me pictures, and all I could comprehend was loud booms.
Doesn't sound like anybody we know. Maybe it's the Fae Eternal.
See, I kind of got a lot of, I could see that as well.
Alright. Where? You said in the grove.
In the grove.
Well, whatever it is, something that it's so strange, we can't just pass up an opportunity like this.
How did you feel when you saw it?
What do you mean? In what way?
Why did you want to touch it?
It was calling to me. It was...
But did that
drawing
make you
me in.
feel good or bad?
Felt bad. It's not something that's natural. Not something that's supposed to be there.
Alarming. I think you two were meant to investigate it.
Shall we maybe move somewhere a little bit more private?
Brian looks around. There's nobody else in the bar but you all. Well, lads, it's only you, and if anybody else comes, I'll comp them a room outside. And send one of the barkeeps to serve them from the rooms. I don't think they'll mind.
Okay. So hot and cold, pull and push, interdimensional, you stated. Anything else we should be worried about?
Roll a history check, both of you.
9.
How many more of these you got in you after this one, bud?
Plenty.
I think you have 2 more. You have 5, right?
Yeah.
So 2 more. What'd you get, bud?
25.
This sounds and feels familiar. What'd you get again?
9.
This could be anything. Wild. Weird.
He was.
But here, we're not done. I'm going back to you. This sounds familiar. Do you know where? Or must I illuminate you? Do you have an idea?
The fact that he's wearing a hat makes me think it's a certain Eternal.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Talk about the object. It sounds something akin to the rift that was found in Glengar. Character has not put that. I
Korvac
was
is
also
not. Korvac
dead.
is not.
I was also dead when they went through that.
But remember the rift that was between the Shadowfell and reality. When you were visiting Basco's sister and freeing them from that, you freed them from a curse, but you also found that there was a shatter in reality, and in between the Shadowfell and this reality, there was a rift that was kind of doing the exact same thing as what he described. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're from the Grove, correct?
Correct.
Well, that would have been close to where we thought those monsters from the Shadowfell.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What monsters from the Shadowfell?
When we went into the Shadowfell, we entered through the rift.
You never fought them.
Sorry, no, that's where we went and met Abaddon.
Also,
and Morgus.
dude, top northwest corridor, Glamgar. Not the same thing as just outside the Far Plains. Way far away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do I need to re-explain it? Did you actually not get it then?
Yeah, let's go ahead and re-explain it.
Alright. It's okay, bud. Like, we're not shit-talking you. It was a fucking year and a half ago. Remember when you went to Glamgar to find fucking Basco's sister? And he fought the nightmare and died? And then you guys found that there was a curse pulling air from the Shadowfell into Glamgar to freeze everything over to counteract the Evertree's magic.
Yeah.
And then while you were there was a rift that was in between those two portals that was kind of like sucking in a little bit of both.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what I'm talking about. You never really fought any Shadowfell creatures. That was all the way up here.
My brain just connected that as a Shadowfell creature.
Yes, they were Shadowfell creatures, but remember, the grove that you guys were in 3 days ago, where he witnessed you, is all the way over here.
Oh.
Just outside of Theruin.
Yeah.
So that is where he was.
All I know is when I reached for it, it felt like the Fey being was warning me that if I had touched it, I wouldn't survive.
All right. We can definitely go and investigate it. You maybe remove it. Does it sound like anything you've seen?
Sounds a lot like that rift. Gives that same sort of heebie-jeebies, doesn't it?
What rift?
Where Basco's sister is.
Oh, you mean the thing that made things colder?
Yeah.
All right.
We have known activity in that area.
You know how? Remember how you got rid of it?
We're dead.
If I remember right, it was Basco's sister that took care of that. Correct?
What?
It's been so long. Did Basco's sister end up closing that, or?
Yes, she did.
Okay, it was her. Well, we at least have somebody that we can maybe call upon if you know it turns to
Well,
be
to be
worse
fair,
worse.
you guys at the end of that had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
And she was, for lack of a better word, like, you know, resting for several hundred years.
Coming out of Kratos' sleeve.
Yeah, like, no, not 100, but like 80 or something years.
Yeah. Well, I don't see any problem with why waste time? I've been in a stuffy room with a bunch of politicians for a few hours. Let's get some adventuring done.
Oh, Korvac, you are the politician now.
I hate that.
I'm trying to look up what his fucking sister's name is.
Started with an S.
I know it was like Sin or something like that. Scene. Nope, those are those. Those are the Eternals. That's the map.
Celine?
Yes, Selene.
There she is.
Really close. I'm like, Celine?
I know. It was one of those. I had the exact same thought.
It's like Korvac died and Celine. Okay. All right, yeah. Let's. Can you take us there?
Yeah.
What you looking up, bud?
Which spell I would have to use to take us there?
Let me
Would it
see.
be Tree Stride?
So here's the thing. Oh. You. Oh, okay. I understand. How do I? Yes. Okay. So. You don't have it.
He doesn't have travel via plants.
Yeah. It's the 6th level, right?
I don't know. That was.
I'm gonna
Pasco's
count
shit.
this. So while you do that, can you look that up for me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
I still have 200.
No, you have the exact right amount.
Okay.
I'm just saying what if you had an extra one, we could get rid of it.
It is 6th level.
You need to have travel via plants.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Well, Summon Phase is nice, right? But like, if it's not like totally useful.
Well, what do you, is there anything? Well, let's keep that. That's your only one. These are both good. We can get rid of that one.
Wow. I didn't realize he was
Reverse?
burning a 6th level every
Mirage
time he used
Oh, okay.
that.
Yeah. I don't even really remember.
Pasco
what it
really
does.
sacrificed a lot for us.
You can all.
Just change the name.
He used
Oh, wait, no,
to
because
get
it's a 6th
to
level.
Yes, sir.
Rainy.
He had a fucking staff that took care of it. You guys forget that.
Well, he didn't have it in the fight with Rainy, I don't think, did he?
What?
He used it in the fight against Rainy.
Yeah, at that point, it was like a cool guy thing because it was his first time using it ever, and he only had that one spot. And you used it. I'm gonna say you cast it once because you did just get there.
Okay.
So let's say this is where you're at now. So if you spend another 6th level to travel via plants, you can always burn a level higher to do it.
Okay.
Like you can't burn a level 5 to use it,
Yeah.
but you can burn a level 7 to do that.
Well, can I? Let me ask you, what is our? What's the terrain? Is there water around? Like, cause like
It's raining a little bit, yeah.
my level 8 spell is Tsunami, right?
Mhm.
So it's like I'll burn the level 8 if I'm not gonna be near water to do Tsunami, right?
Why do you want to do tsunami?
I don't want to do Tsunami because we're not near water. to
You can
do
always
Tsunami.
use your level 8 on any other spell below
Any,
that, though.
anything lower.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
saying-
that's one of those things. Like you don't like if you wanted to cast, Cure Wounds,
Yeah.
Wall of Fire scales. There's a lot of spells that scale upwards.
Travel
You-
via plant does not.
Travel via plants doesn't scale upwards, but at the same time, I'm not saying you can't use it to do it.
Right.
So if you wanted to burn even heal scales, you could burn heal at 8th level and do more.
Yeah.
So even if you're like, I have no use for Tsunami, you still have use for that 8th level spell slot.
Okay, I get what you're saying now. I thought
Yeah.
you guys didn't get what I was saying.
What were you saying?
No, you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you don't have to worry about, like, I only have Tsunami for my 8th level. You can put whatever you want. And also, it's your first few times playing, like, and you know how many spells you can have. Fucking change this shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like, oh, I hate this, I'm never using this, or like, this has never come up once, or I used it once and it didn't do what I wanted it to do, fucking feel free to be like, oh, well, I take my long rest, I switch that out for that. We're going to give this a whirl now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to get married to any of this because you're a druid.
Okay.
Alright.
So you could take them to where they want to go because you know a tree
Yeah.
in this cool part of the grove that you know about.
So I would take him right to the tree, though, right? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, you basically go to any tree that's large enough to fit the lot of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a tall boy, but you're also a skinny boy.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to, go through a good amount of trees in the area because it is dense forest.
Mm-hmm.
All of these guys would be able to go through it, and it's basically like a tree in that sweet spot of the grove because, of course, you would have spent time there and like memorized trees and stuff like that.
But would it work because, like, he burnt down the trees, right? So are there even trees really left to...
You will only know if you try.
Shit. Okay.
Welcome to D&D.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, you don't know, but you can try.
Alright, so I take us all, travel via plants.
Crinch looks to the lot of you. We'll have one with Brian. We'll have one for you. Hell, if you want to even have one before you go. But I think this is an adventure for the two of you with him.
Oh, that's perfectly fine, Cringe. We didn't want to drag you in it.
Don't worry. My question is this: do you want to have one with us, or do you want us to have one on you?
Have one on us.
Nice meeting you, Starth, was it?
It is.
Put it on my tab.
Done.
I'm gonna be so fucking bankrupt at the end of this.
You owe me. You make your way out. It is not hard to find a tree big enough for the lot of you to travel. And when you do, you make note of it because you're like, oh, this tree is slightly better than the tree that I had previously in this area. And then I need you to roll perception for me. And I need all of you to roll perception for me.
Is this an advantage perception?
Yes, if you have advantage on perception. Oh my fucking Christ balls!
That's a 31, my boy.
2 nat
Your
20.
perception is 11. You also have a nat 20?
27 though.
Nice.
Okay.
I pissed on this tree.
31.
Say my glasses fogged up.
So much to your amaze, the portal opens. Which is bizarre to you, because most of the grove burned down.
Mm-hmm.
And this was pretty damn near the heart of it. But you're not one to mince words, and you're certainly not one to lose an opportunity on a 6th level spell.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk through, because this was one of your favorite spots in the grove. And you all follow suit behind him. You all know as well, you were there. A lot of the grove burned down. So for this tree to be there is still pretty amazing. What did you roll?
13.
I'm going to give a base description of the area. This is what he earned. You boys earned a little bit extra with your nat 20s. You earned a little bit more because yours was stronger. Have you ever ran through the woods and just found a spot that for some reason felt mystical to you? And you were like, I don't know why, but this spot right here is the most woodsy spot in all the woods. That's this spot. The trees are just slightly bigger, funner, more entertaining, wilder than everything else, more vibrant. There's more walks of life here. There's a self-built kind of eco chamber of insects and flora and fauna. There's more species here, diversity-wise, than through the entire grove as you had known it. I want, well, you already had with your you're 13. The trees here are fine. They're huge, and yet they didn't seem to suffer any damage whatsoever. And if you look to one direction, towards, well, the rest of the grove, the central kind of part of it, you can see that just outside of this area is where the burned down part starts, and it just goes on for a vast amount. But then if you look the other direction, it goes on in dense woods, almost as if this thicket stopped the fire here. And had it not been here, the fire would have progressed forward outward and kind of clipped the rest of this part of all of this expanse of woods. So thousands of acres will remain because this pocket stopped the progression of the fire. With your nat 20, you can immediately detect that on that limit that I talked about, on the side where there was fire, it's not just biodiversity that stopped it. It's domed perfectly. It's got a circular edge. Some sort of magic has stopped the fire. Something is directly influencing more growth. You've explored a lot, and you've been to a lot of places. As much as you can tell this area is verdant, you also know that there's more to this area than meets the eye, and that there are, if not one font of power, but several. The trees look like they might be part of the network of the Evertree, as you have seen several, both in the cavern in Glangar, the Evertree itself, Crinch's Castle, underneath Brian's Tavern. These roots share the same. And there might be connections to the Fae, as the colors here are just more vibrant than anywhere else. With your even slightly higher nat 20, I will say this. You don't feel a change in that odd presence that made you check that crevice. And you too now realize this place should be burnt down. And then you see that edge, that magical edge, and you put together whoever put this fucked up rift here probably put some sort of base abjuration spell to protect it. And that's the only reason why this grove survived, and thus those thousands of acres on the other side of it. And with that, you're standing in this chunk of the grove, several trees. He knows which one holds the rift. But that's where you're at.
Can I make a nature check to see if I can maybe, get a better understanding of what's going on?
Absolutely. Anybody else that'd like to take part in that is welcome.
One.
Let me.
He gets to re-roll it because he's a halfling.
Yeah.
Halflings re-roll once. They're fucked.
I'm a rat bastard.
I'll take a nature.
That is 26.
That's a 2.
26, you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 10.
It's nature.
That's nature. That's all I need to know.
You've been here before. You've got a hammock just in one of those trees right there. You said a 20 what?
26.
Nature alone didn't do this. You see evidence of the Evertree, and you see evidence of a little bit more. It's not a few leaps of logic to put together that maybe the Fae also have a touch in this section of the woods. That maybe this might just be part of those parts of the earth that just have a little bit more connection to the Fae than others.
What is so special about this area?
Oh, isn't it obvious? These trees have connection with the Evertree,
Yes.
but they told us they didn't have anything artifact-wise in these woods, grove.
But
It's just the trees themselves.
When you were here, you were kind of like the only person that really discovered this. This was not a thing widely explored by other people. This is not like a well-known place or location.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you know, you're the only one that knew the connection between the Evertree and the Feywild here. But it does have obvious connections to both.
How long ago did you find this?
Years,
Years?
not decades or anything, but it has been a very favorite and frequent stop and home spot as of late.
I want to say maybe 5 years ago. I found it. It's my favorite spot.
right?
Everything's more alive here.
I'd say there's a lot going on here, Mr. Stoth.
Do you feel the drawing sensation that I feel?
Go ahead and roll whatever your spellcasting modifier is. For you, you have something that you want to roll for that. Never mind.
No.
What'd you roll?
I just rolled a 14. You said spellcasting modifier. I was just gonna put my wisdom on it.
Use your Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
I'm getting
So-
mine.
Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier because that's your base spell
okay.
thing. But I'm gonna say, for the sake of this, make it your spell attack modifier.
Okay.
For you, that will be your Constitution saving throw.
I got a natural 20.
You fucking cocksuckers! Don't worry, I'm just kidding.
And with my spell attack, that's a 30-30.
I'm not that far behind.
And you got, my friend?
26.
And you got?
27.
Nice.
No nat 20s though.
No. Just this guy. This cocksucker. you said.
Yeah. If I do
You get
remember,
one nat 20 and everybody looks at you.
Hold on, sorry.
Promise you I'm not Ceres.
So,
Nat 20.
and you had a
27.
You feel it almost shortly after he says, do you not feel it? You realize, like a draft in a room, you don't notice it until it's been called out. It's the tiniest thing in the corner, but you're outside. The temperature's different, the vibe is different, as verdant as an acre this is, it's just one tree. Every being is just instinctually known to give a wide berth, and you feel the pull to it. With a 27, you sense an area, but you don't get a point. You can identify it immediately
For sure.
because it's something you've visited. But it's one of those, it happened recently, and you were immediately told it because you've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And when it changed, it didn't take long for you to kind of be like, wait a minute, this isn't the same as it used to be. But you see a tree. There seems to be you know those trees that sort of fold into themselves because maybe they suffered a injury in their childhood, struck by lightning, something, cleaved, you never know. But they kind of grow into themselves and you can kind of look inside of their hollow. It takes some looking, it takes some finagling. But just inside and looking up, you can see in the heart of this tree, it's one of these rifts, just as you saw in the Shadowfell connection outside Cillian's home.
Does it seem to be an exact... Do I get the same feeling as the rift?
Give me an Arcana check.
Ones and 20s today's book.
You were saying? You were saying?
I'm going to use a lucky roll. Much more reasonable. 16.
I think you only had one of those, right? Because you saved most of them for the talks.
Yeah. I burned through a lot of my inspiration, so I'm just burning through lucky rolls now.
So 16?
Mm-hmm.
And this was a...
Arcana. Arcana.
You've never felt this before. Hold on, sorry. You've never felt this before except there. So because of that, it's very easily recognizable. It is very unique in and of itself. Whatever made way for this one, made way for the one over there.
I turn to Korvac. You know what to do if something bad happens.
Whack.
Can I walk into it?
You can't walk into
What,
it.
Can I stick my head into it?
I'm gonna say, let's reach out and see what
The
happens.
Fae told me not to touch it.
Well, is the Fae gonna stop us? Let's find out.
Like I said, you had to take some finagling to even get a view of it. Like, it's a crack in the crevice and you have to look up into the tree and you can see it. Like, you have to, like, he was able to reach for it because he has got long and lanky arms.
Okay.
Like, you'd have to, like, crawl into the tree and then go for it. And much like when it was in the Shadowfell, it gives off the same sense of, like, this is life and death energy.
Yeah.
Like, touching this might mean instant death.
Are there any long branches nearby?
You're inside the tree.
But like outside of the tree, is there any long branches?
Yes, coming off of the trunk of the tree are many long branches.
What about to take one and reach and stick it into the portal?
Oh, you mean like on the ground?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tons, without a doubt.
Preferably one with still green leaves on it, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so you find, it doesn't take long, you find a freshly fallen branch that has a lot of green on it. And as soon as it gets close to that, it starts trying to turn tan. And then the closer, it gets shriveled brown. And then as soon as you're forcing into it, it is rotting away and disappearing.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for not sticking your head into it. All right, Mac, roll up a new character, bud.
So,
The good news is that
that's not what
Hold on,
happened.
this is an afterburner on a jet. Let me stick my face into it. Hold on, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, if this is the same thing you saw in Glamgar, how did you walk through that?
Maybe
What did-
it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing as you saw in Glamgar.
Well, that's the thing I'm pointing out.
Malin opened up a rift himself between Glamgar and the Shadowfell. And then this rift sat apart on top of it, kind of just absorbing the residual after effects of this.
Okay.
And everybody was like, that's weird, let's keep going.
Yes. Now it's coming together now. Now I understand 100%.
Do you know anyone who could create a rift like this?
Maybe a guy named Malin.
Roll history
Roll history.
at disadvantage.
So what does that mean?
You gotta roll it twice and pick the worst one.
Okay.
You haven't been part of normal society for a long time.
For sure.
Oh, go ahead. I really love your shirt.
Thanks, man. I love it. 7. Wait.
On 6 is the lower of the two.
That's a
My
6? I thought that was a 9.
No apologies.
What am I looking at?
History.
History.
History. So that's a 8 all day.
8 all day. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell to you.
Heard
You
that.
don't know who the fuck Malin is.
Who the fuck is Malin?
That's a fuck, quite literally. But he's he's a man. He's a Asimar who is hell bent on destroying this world and killing everybody. He originally believed this was going to be the only way to reset things back to the way they were, but at this point I believe he realized that's folly and he's just pushing on. He's lost his mind.
There's a little bit more to it than that. Go ahead and roll history, both of you, on Malin, and I'll give you an overspiel of it. That's it. Whatever it is you rolled is it.
Fuck.
Jesus, guys!
It's been a while since we talked.
I mean, you could have answered the way you wanted to beforehand about Malin.
well, I've sealed my fate.
2.
Don't know anything.
What? 12?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take you much to know that he believes fully that if every living being on the planet is eliminated, the world will reset and start over, and thus everyone gets a second chance.
Shoot, I didn't realize you still believing in that malarkey.
Yes,
I
of
thought
course
he
he
was-
still believes in that malarkey. That was clearly something that, is base Malin that needs to be expressed.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So, he truly believes that if he kills everything, I mean everything, there's going to be a reset. Something that he believes the,
Pizza ordering.
I almost said primordials of the,
Are we doing pizza, or do we want Miller's, or what do we want?
I could go pizza or Miller's, man. Both fucking slap.
Is there anything we're craving?
pizza is.
Pizza?
I was gonna say he believes.
We do not sponsor Miller's Ale House.
We just said Miller's, dude. It could have been anything.
Oh shit.
But yeah, fuck Miller's. But seriously, they are good though. Make it whatever you want, huh? Huh?
Better Applebee's.
Well, now Applebee's.
Well, hold on. No. We all can agree. Fuck Applebee's.
He's fucked up.
$1 margaritas. We know what sort of poison you're pushing. But on the other hand, when you say better than Applebee's, that's pretty much a blanket statement for every other restaurant in the world. So, can't get at us from that.
Alright.
So, he believes that the Eternals built
This city.
a reset, and that if everything went as terrible as every living thing being killed, everything would go back as it were many years ago.
Now ask what the Eternals are.
Fantastic.
What are the Eternals?
The Eternals. Oh boy. So, long ago, there was a big war. Fucked over the whole planet. So, to save what was left, the Eternals built what we know as Pangier. Each one kind of has its own strengths and abilities. They're legends that are unknown to the common person. So because they built this, one of them is probably feeding the lie that this reset even exists.
But we're not common people, right?
You're not.
You're not, but where have you been?
A lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
It is not common knowledge at all that the Eternals exist. Basically, there's an elite section of society that's in the know that, hey, this mountain range that runs the world. I'll show you a picture.
You got like 4 notebooks there?
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes.
I love it. I love all this.
Alright, so, for the longest time, everybody thought this was the world as we know it.
Okay.
This mountain range was quite literally the edge of the world.
Okay.
The Eternals did this on purpose. It was kind of like this place's test. They would all put here, and there's tons of monsters and stuff, and crazy things, but other cool things to find, and it's kind of like a risk-reward. Like, will you go out, and once you can,
Right.
That didn't quite go as it is. But in reality, the real world looks like this.
So where are we currently?
This.
Okay.
This small thing that you think is the actual world, and then all of this exists. But then, even further, there's an entire western continent over here that nobody knows anything about, and because of that one shot you did, an archipelago that exists somewhere in this region.
Where we crash landed the boat?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
So, that's an area that nobody has any fucking mindset of at all.
Is Acro gonna come back?
Eventually, maybe. If we do that campaign again, we'll do that campaign, but you guys are going to be basically in a vacuum in the archipelago. Like, it'll be a self-campaigned, like, One Piece. And it was expected, like, hey, we're going to put them here. They slowly make their way across and, take over all of these things. And That hasn't happened, and they've just kind of sat here and then been like, well, it's pretty safe here. And because the Paragons at one point were told to make a map, went to the edge and for some reason never explained what was past the edge. And just told everybody this was the edge of the world, which kind of has halted all development, and thus why things have been stagnant and boring, and everybody's like, what the fuck, nothing's happening, why the 9th level spells were so hard to discover. But the Eternal gods were the ones mapping that out. And they were the ones that reshaped everything, and, you know, they all had their own say in it, and they all like, I reshaped mountains. I made this area verdant. I modified these memories. I designed it. Like, every one of them had a different say. They don't know who, but Malin has all this information, which means an Eternal has talked to him in some way, but they don't know who. But one of them has fed a lie that there was also in place a reset. That if enough damage was done to the system, it would reset back to the last time things were fine. And because Malin's... The Aasimar are basically what humans think they are if they were Christian. Aasimar are God-designed beings that look humanoid. And it's basically, they have some sort of divine purpose. They put the Aasimar there thinking things were going to be better and that they could fix things. However, they came way too late. And the world was already disheveled and in combat. So because of that, this undeveloped civilization was basically just at the behest at some horrible monsters at the end of this horrible war amongst humanity. He watched his wife and family get murdered in front of him. And his mindset is, if he destroys enough and destabilizes the world enough, the world will be reset back to before his family was killed. And maybe they have another chance and those horrible things don't happen to him. And that is... Malin.
Anyways, he has connections with Abaddon and Orcus, and he's very much a candidate for somebody who could do something like this.
Abaddon's the god of death and dismay, and Orcus is basically the god of war and destruction.
But what does the rift have to do with him? Like how does the rift cause the death to enact the reset?
I imagine it's probably just gathering energy, if I had to imagine.
But if you look around, it's saved all of this life, all this plant life.
Make an Arcana check, everybody.
Diaz. Diaz.
7.
10.
16 on me.
What saved this area is not the same thing as a rift. There's a different spell on this area that saved it. You're the only one that's capable of seeing that.
Whoa.
Nobody rolled higher than 16, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, fellas.
I share that information.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, we can certainly...
There's a lot of people that don't do that. Like, they're like,
Well, fellas, we can all agree this rift is not good.
No.
Can you dispel it?
Nobody's gonna ponder the other thing that was just talked about?
Yeah.
It's a different type of spell that saved the plant life versus the rift.
Was it not the
Whatever you-
Evertree business?
Excuse me?
The Evertree business? The trees seem to be affected or connected to the Evertree. Is that not it?
That is true. But is that what saved all of this foliage versus all of that?
Nobody has said they want to investigate this shielding at all, so I can't say anything.
Yeah.
Would I be able to cast Detect Magic?
Thank you!
Yeah, I don't have that. I was
I know.
thinking, I was like, I want to detect the
Me
magic,
too.
but I don't have
Wait a
it.
minute. I might actually have had it this
You
whole
cast
time.
Detect Magic. There is a dome covering the entire area that you're in. And now that you kind of see this dome, it kind of like, it covers into that like circular area that you saw earlier. And then it kind of like, you can mark it now like, oh my god, that explains these burn patterns and all the, holy shit. But what's alarming comes from the fact that you can't place this magic. It's something, it's abjuration, sure, it's protection, but it's simpler than anything you've ever fucked with before. It's some base level protection, but in its simplicity, there is some primal power you've almost never felt before. Something really wanted this tree, this ecosystem, to keep going.
So is it like the tree is in the middle and then there's like a radius around it that is not burnt? Or like, how is this visualization looking? You know?
Roll a nature check.
26.
This shield has no conjuration or connection to any of the plants in any way. It is, in fact, centrally located on the rift.
I share this information.
Okay, not nature magic.
It was not the trees providing the shield.
No, I got that,
Yeah.
but I just didn't know if like it was the tree in the middle and they were like, okay, so like a radius around the tree is protected because we want to keep this tree, you know?
Roughly.
Roughly, yeah.
But it was more the rift
Mm-hmm.
than the nature. Because there was a lot of other, like, this tree itself and the fey elements around it, like, there's no, like, 100% certain kind of, like, there was better circles you could have drawn to get more out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you were truly going to go for.
But it was
But if you were trying to protect the rift,
Mhm.
now you can see where the centrally located
Okay.
on the rift is. And with all the rolls he got, he was able to put all of that together.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a nature check on the tree? See if there's anything unique about it?
Sure.
Besides the rift in it.
And its roots in the Evertree and everything else we know already.
22.
It has roots to the Evertree, as does a lot of the trees in this area. Something... Here's the thing. I may say something about it is Fey powered. You shouldn't be looking for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the Fey operate. Sometimes this area is powerful with the Fey. Sometimes this area is powerful with the Abyss. Sometimes this area is powerful with primordial magic. But the Fey have been close to this area. Most likely because of the Evertree, and because they like the verdant growth that comes with that. So they're like, hey, we like doing a dip of our thing. We've already got a dip of this thing. These two things work together. They might necessarily be like, you know, we're doing it for this reason, but the Evertree has for some reason found root here. You don't need to search the root of why. It's like in Fallout 3. Remember when you found the guy who's got the tree growing off of him?
Yeah.
You're not wondering why this area. You know? You're like, okay, no, it's already back. This area is because of you. Now we're dealing with the repercussions. It's kind of that sort of mentality. For whatever reason, and I'm not saying that's the reason you must decipher, but for whatever reason, the Evertree has found root here. And because of that, other things of power have found it as well.
Well, fellas, I can certainly say one thing. This rift shouldn't be here.
Do I know how long the rift has been there?
Recently.
Recently. Okay.
Definitely within the past few months.
Okay.
And we're talking 2 to 3, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even less, maybe a month or 2.
But I also don't have concept of time like that.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been here for years.
Right.
So,
So here's what I think. I think we should close this rift. Do you think I should start with a level 8 Dispel Magic?
you think that'll be enough?
If not, I can always wish it closed permanently.
But what if we summon the Fae and ask them their knowledge about this area? Who put the rift?
Well,
Why is this rift here?
Are you able
would you be able to do that? We don't have any connection with them.
I have summoned Fae. Does that work?
Is your pal who spoke to you earlier able to come and help? Maybe you make
I'd
light
like
of
to
this.
meet him.
I can sense them. I can't force them to come up.
Casting summon Fae at higher levels doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't.
I'm looking it up right now. Maybe. Maybe it gets higher number. You call forth a Fey spirit that manifests in an unoccupied space that you can see within range. This corporeal form uses the Fey spirit stat block. When you cast a spell, choose a mood, fuming, mirthful, or tricksy. The creature resembles a Fey creature of your choice, marked by the chosen mood, which determines one of the traits in its stat block. The creature is an ally to you and your companions in combat. I don't know. I think this is just like a fighting thing.
Yeah, that's how I'm also perceiving this. It's not like
If you don't mind, may I? How do I?
Right there. No, that's that. So that's that.
That, yes. Divination would be helpful in this situation. Commune with nature, sorry, would be helpful in this situation.
Okay.
Commune with nature would actually be very helpful
Yeah.
in this situation. Yes, sir.
Is that one that like scales up, or is it?
No, but that's
No.
the one I told you about where you basically get to ask.
Can that be ritual cast?
Hmm?
Can commune with nature be ritual cast? We'll find out. It can.
And druids have ritual casting, don't they?
You can do this. It's going to take them an hour.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Do you want to cast a 5th level spell, or do you want to take 1 hour to ritual cast it and not cost any spells at all?
You can always take a tea break.
Yeah. How much time do you guys have? Do you want to do this now, or can we wait?
You got all evening.
You don't have anywhere to be.
Not till tomorrow.
Okay. So you ritual cast it, you don't burn any spell slot because you've ritual casted the spell. Which means you've taken a little bit longer, 1 hour, but you do not burn a 5th level spell.
Where does it tell me that I do that? How do I know what I can
So here's the
ritual
thing.
cast?
Commune with nature.
Oh, ritual right there, yes. I see it now.
Yes.
Okay.
Checks out. All right. So I ritual cast commune with nature.
During this hour, I want everyone to take a short rest. You haven't had anything to
Yeah.
affect. You recover some. There's a thing. You recover some of your spells on a short rest, I think. Go ahead and take a look at that and see what that says.
I am gonna do before a short rest. We'll set up like a small camp to make tea. I also put alert on us and a 20-foot cone around us.
Okay.
I regain half your level worth of spell slots during a short rest.
Is there a cap to that?
It doesn't say it on the features part.
Half your level would just be
7.5. No. 9.5.
So I think that you gain some of your magical energy by sitting a minute. During a short rest, you choose expensive spell slots to recover. The spell slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your druid level, rounded up, and none of the slots can be 6th level or higher. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so
Okay.
because you're level 19,
Yeah.
half your level,
Write that
It said 6th level or higher.
down. Lower.
the spell slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your druid level.
Okay.
So your level is 9, right?
I'm 19.
Well, 19, but divided by 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
10.
I got you.
So rounded up would be 10, actually. So, obviously.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've
Regain.
casted.
Well, hold on. You did cast it twice, didn't you?
Right. Yeah. So I just didn't burn it the second time.
Yeah, but you didn't cast anything else in this recently?
No. Honestly, I don't think I did. Because I was gonna summon Fae, but then we were like, that's not worth it. So now I'm actually doing Commune with Nature. So that one would get... No, but I'm ritual casting it, so it doesn't
Yeah.
burn a spell slot, so I didn't...
Well, technically, you wouldn't have actually taken a short rest because you were ritual casting.
Okay, so that still has to get burnt.
Yeah, that does actually. We actually will.
I forward it to you for going back.
Leave it as it is. It's fine.
Are you sure? I don't want to fuck with the...
Well, you did travel via plants to get there, and then you did travel via plants to get to another place. So both of those are gone.
Right.
And then you ritual casted that, so that's fine. But
Okay.
you all get to short rest
Yeah.
Yeah.
while he's actively doing his thing. And you're all good?
Yeah. I burned Alarm just to get it back.
Absolutely, because that's arcane recovery, right?
Yes.
Got it.
But yeah.
I'm at the point where I don't have to use my hands, right? To cast things? Is that where we're at?
Verbal and somatic components are ignored by you.
Yeah, so I'm just chilling.
So what do you?
So he's just like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you do anything like, or is
So
it just
we
you
basically
sat there?
we had a huge discussion whether it should be dream or land, because land adds more spellcaster components to it, and dream added more like, random, spell cast things. But he's pretty much fucking boss now because he's going all the way through. He doesn't have to do verbal or somatic components for any spell.
And I can cast while I'm in
You
the
have,
beasts.
you have any idea how dangerous that is?
So
People could bind you up and you'd be like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
Fireball.
You don't even need to say fireball. You can just look at him. But here's the thing: it still needs material components.
Yeah.
However, when he reaches level 20,
That's why we're straight going all
he
the way.
does not require any material components for spells unless it specifically dictates a cost.
How is that a druid thing?
A
Why
cost
is that not a
like
sorceress?
Yeah, you know how I
Damn,
said like 300
okay.
gold piece diamond? You're still
Yeah.
going to need to do that. But here's the thing. Anytime like it has a material component, it's like, oh, a bit of phosphorus. Like, you don't need to worry about it because it doesn't have a gold cost. So like things like fireball, you can just cast.
Yeah.
Because I was like looking up different spells and it was like, what was it? Resurrection? Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
big one.
For Druid?
Mhm.
Fucking like 2,500 gold piece to cast that?
Oh, true resurrection?
True Resurrection.
Try to 25,000 gold piece.
Insane.
He can tell him what you can do with wish.
I can use Wish to create 25,000
Gold,
gold value worth of the spell components you need.
Damn.
At any point of the day, he can cast wish to give him 25,000 gold of whatever the fuck he wants. So if he wants it to be 25,000 gold worth of diamonds, he can, and then he can just give that to you.
And that's where the two chalices came from when we gave it to Vasco.
That's my other question. I don't know what my character's net worth is. It can't be a lot, right?
No.
I got fucking acorns in my
I
pocket,
like
you
to
know?
imagine
Here,
like you're in
can you open up your character thing and I'll put your net worth into it for you?
I like to imagine like you're in a huge trance right now, and me and Korvac, I'm smoking from my pipe. So what do you think of our strange new friend?
I'm thinking this tea isn't hitting the spot.
Want me to make it a bit stronger?
I don't know if you can.
I prestidigitate it so the water boils again in your cup.
Mm.
It's loose leaf tea.
Right. I'm never gonna shake this feeling back.
I kind of look at Stoff. Does he have a beard?
He's mostly hair, I feel like.
Tell me, is it like that cartoony, like, it's just like a bowl of hair that just covers everything?
Alright, I've given you this,
Okay.
and this is the money you have.
Okay.
Not a lot. Get with me later. I'm sure we have a lot of time before the next session.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to work on giving you some magical items.
Okay.
But as of right now, just RP will deal. And we're not going to go into, like, deep need for magical items right now, I don't
Gun-blooded.
think. Yeah, exactly.
Um,
But no, Commune with Nature has been cast.
yeah.
The spirits of nature have approached you. Let me get the spell up so I... In the outdoors, the spell gives you knowledge of the land within 3 miles of you. In caves and other natural underground settings, the radius is limited to 300 feet. The spell doesn't function where nature has been replaced by construction, such as in dungeons and towns. You gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to the area. It's a body of water, prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or people, powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, influences from other planes of existence, buildings. For example, you could determine the location of powerful undead in the area, the location of major sources of safe drinking water, and the location of any nearby towns.
Mm-hmm.
But those are kind of like, you talk to a spirit of nature about what is happening within 3 miles.
All right.
You have 3 facts. What facts do you wish to look up?
What kind of person, or not person, what kind of, what do I call him a person? Kind of beast?
Being.
What kind of being put this rift here?
Something beyond the universal conception.
You guys have any questions that you want me to ask?
Maybe the barrier. Because we don't necessarily know if they're combined. We're going on the conclusion that maybe that's definitely the case, but we can probably get an answer. Who put the barrier?
Who put the barrier?
Yeah, we can ask who put the barrier.
Okay. Is the being that put the barrier different than the being that put the rift?
No.
Okay.
The person who put the barrier put it there solely to protect the rift.
Now we know for sure.
Is there Fae nearby?
Are there Fae nearby?
Of course.
Of course.
How close by?
Oh, those are
How
three
many questions did he fucking have? He had 3.
Alright. I feel like we didn't get the best answers.
Well, yeah.
You had 2 good ones, and then you were like, do they like ponies?
Okay.
I'll let you retract that, Thomas. Of course there are Fae. It's the Feywild is actively influencing the area.
Is there Fae very nearby?
If the only thing you can think of to tweak the question is, are there Fae nearby, to are there Fae very nearby, maybe we don't do the other question. But come on. Is there something else you want to ask?
No.
Then I'm not talking to you anymore. Is there something else anybody else wants to ask? Because you don't need to ask if there are Fae nearby. You can tell it. I've been saying it for the past hour.
Mm-hmm.
There's been Fae touches around this area.
Well, I don't think that he's gonna tell us straight up who put it there. You know?
Oh, because they don't even know.
Right.
Because they just said it's beyond beyond the world's conception.
So we know it's relatively recent that it was put there. They're the same person that put both barriers, or the barrier plus the rift.
Maybe you can point us in the direction of
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Where they went.
Yeah.
Do you know where they went after they put up the rift and the barrier?
They disappeared the same way they appeared.
Oh, fuck you, man.
Okay, not here then.
There's a lot to that,
Yeah.
actually.
So they're they have ability to teleport, or they're are there demigods? Are we demigods? Are there demigods in this world?
They would have been able to
Abaddon and Orcus are 2 gods.
and they would have been able to perceive what that is.
Malin is actively also a champion of Abaddon and Orcus, 2 different gods, while he's also working for some Eternal.
But the thing is I still think they would be able to understand what that is too. My thought is it's an Eldritch Horror. Can I But like,
Human nature.
most of the Elder Taurus we know stay where they're found. So what else would they be? Or where else?
I mean, in,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say in my interpretation, it sounds like it was a planar shift in and then out.
Not at all.
Did we?
This is not anything that you've seen before. This is a new thing. This is a planar warp. It is not evidence of planar shift. This is something new. This is something different.
Okay.
This is its own thing. This is a warp.
Did we detect magic on that?
He detected magic and he got the
Just the outline.
the dome.
Okay.
But he also saw the warp, and the warp is exactly what he views it as.
Yeah.
A warp. There's no.
Because I was just wondering what type of like magic it is to like
Everything.
decay the branch.
So here's
in
the
that
thing.
way.
That magic. There's something about it.
Mhm.
It is simplistic, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
In its simplicity, it's powerful. It is more simplistic than anything you've seen before. It is just straightforward, almost touching and weaving of the Arcanum, rather than the efforts that maybe some wizards need to go. It's basically almost beckoning the Arcanum at will. It is almost primordial, but it's something different. It is, I want it to be this way, and it is.
How did Basco's sister deal with the rift the first time?
I believe she dispelled it, but she.
What does that mean?
It's a spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have access to it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I recall whether or not she needed to use the primal power in the region to even do that?
Black Wizard, Jesus, everybody gets it.
That part of Glamgar has its own primal source, so I'm wondering did she need to pull from that primal
She's a very powerful caster.
Right. But the thing is so is Mac. I just want to say, it's like, is it conceivable that even Mac could do it, or does he need to draw from a primal source? Like she may.
You can try.
All right.
Like I've always told you guys, you can try. You don't know. You're experiencing this world as much as I am.
Here's a really quick question. You think we'd better for me to do an 8th level Dispel, and if that doesn't work, use Wish, or just 9th level Dispel? I'm thinking 9th level Dispel.
Still want to save that for the wish.
I mean, worst comes to worst, it's an 8-hour fucking wait.
But would you assume the wish would be better than this spell?
Wish does not go to 9th level. If you cast Wish, you're
you're
maxing
right.
out at 8th level.
Now that makes sense.
I'm using Dispel Magic.
Thomas,
Processor.
you got to explain everything to people. Not everybody knows the inner workings of Wish. You do. They don't. Just because you've explained it to them once doesn't mean they know it.
Sorry, I actually know Dispel Magic, so I'm using that.
Okay. Then do it.
I will use Dispel Magic as a 9th level spell on the Void.
Alright, somebody go grab that and then we'll deal with that and then we'll wrap things up.
Sure. He's dead. He's gonna die, right? Because I think he doesn't have to touch it. Never mind. I keep thinking of Vaughn. Vaughn running up and touching that stream. Like, yeah, this isn't gonna end well, maybe.
He just overthinks everything.
Well, this is a lot, man. It's like
Everybody does.
it's so like complex. It's like what do we
Here's how I view it.
do?
We
How
don't
do
have
we
many strings to go on. We try to dispel it. We're gonna piss something off, and then he'll come to us.
True.
There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of things to partake. I know that. It's open-ended.
Is the
We can't really cut down the tree. I don't think that's the thing option we should be doing.
I don't think
The
my
rift
guy-
has nothing to do with the tree.
But the tree has roots in the Evertree, and we should
Yes.
protect that.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't let you touch that tree.
Exactly.
Cause like
So you're casting a 9th level Dispel Magic.
Yes.
Got it. That was the thing. I was just like, he doesn't know why you're not burning a 9th level wish to cast it. Is kind of, I think, what the problem was originally.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, wish handles everything.
Yeah.
But when wish does a different spell effect,
Yeah.
it can only do an 8th level
Okay.
copy of it.
Okay.
If it, my mind is if a 9th level Dispel Magic can't close it, Wish is going to be the only other reasonable thing I have at my arsenal that can close it.
At the same time, people are also expecting you to be just an expert at the things that you're fucking talking about. And when they want you to, like, they're not looking for you to ask them how to use your abilities. They're expecting you to be like, hey, I'm going to use this to do it. They don't know Wish. It's not their ability. Like, they need you to be, like, explaining it to why those, like, why Wish only reciprocates 8th level spells and then has its own effects. It's kind of those, like, I need to do this and then explain it to other people, like, oh, I've cast Wish on it and it didn't work. Oh, I've cast 9th level Dispel. Let me try this later. Because they don't know you. They have their own fucking things going on. So you do the 9th level Dispel.
Mm-hmm.
And just as Celine casts the 9th level Dispel on her warp, it disappears. And that weird feeling at the back of your neck, that rift of cold and hot, has disappeared. That feeling that you were being watched is gone. And the area is fine again. What?
I don't know, man.
You know,
So here's the
why is
thing.
it so easy, man.
So here's the thing. It was only so easy because they made it seem impossible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to just simply,
Yeah.
hey, how about we dispel it? No! It's a puzzle piece! Like,
well,
Well, that doesn't answer the questions, though, of, like,
who put it there? You think they'll be back?
Where,
How long does alarm last? Probably not long.
where are we?
Actually, that's not a bad move. Would you be able to put something that would trigger if someone did come back to this tree?
It only
Just
lasts
to, like-
8 hours.
Yeah, well, there are other things that will trigger things.
I have that?
nope.
No?
But you're always one long rest away from learning a new spell.
Oh. But would I be able to...
Would they notify me?
That's not what... Think broader picture. What is the question that you want to ask?
Who comes back? If,
No!
If someone comes
No!
back?
What is the... You don't...
Okay.
No. You're thinking... Stop thinking what I want you to answer.
Okay.
What do you want to know the answer to?
Who put it there?
That tree's been there for how long?
Right.
Oh my god. Druids, I keep forgetting they can do shit like that.
You can just ask the plant, my dude.
Damn. Okay.
All you gotta do is just learn the spell.
Yeah.
Alright.
We're gonna wrap it up for this week, but we will be back next week. I think that nears.
Can we do a long rest over this next week so I can change my spell?
Oh yeah, 100%. We can end on a long rest. I think everybody wants to end on a long rest,
I'll
right?
trigger my Magnificent Mansion nearby and we'll just go in there for the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
I don't know if that's perfect for the Bigfoot always wanting to live outside.
Right.
What exactly do you want in a Magnificent Mansion? What would you be your
He
comfort
doesn't know
sleeping?
what a magnificent mansion is.
I can form it around anything you could possibly conceive.
Stop responding like I just called you an idiot and you're being aggravated about it. He doesn't know what fucking magnificent mansion is. He doesn't know what you're fucking offering him.
I don't know anything.
Like, these are all... He's new to D&D. He doesn't know what the fucking spells are. Like, take it easy.
Magnificent Mansion is a spell that I cast that generates, basically it's like entering into another dimension, pocket dimension, small dimension, and it lasts for 24 hours, and it allows me to create a homestead inside of it that provides me every need I would need. Like I can
It's
have
got-
food, wine.
It's got X amount of square footage and X amount of unseen servants, which are magical invisible servants.
100.
100 of them. And it also has food to feed 100 people, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, it's just kind of like, hey, everybody, come in here. It's safe. It's its own pocket dimension. We take a rest. We take a relaxation, and everything like that.
And it's anything I can really want.
So the dispelling is what you wanted, because it was clearly a bad thing.
Yeah.
If you're looking to me like, well, why didn't we do more research on it? That's on you.
Yeah.
You got to be like, hey, can we find the source of this?
Yeah.
And that's something that you guys got to find. And let's say you take your long rest, you go in your magnificent mansion. Think about it. Like, how would you be like, what? Like, how do we find out who the fuck did this? You got plants that you can talk to. You can commune with nature and be like, you never once were like, how did this get here?
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's as easy as dispelling it. Of course it's easy as dispelling it. All you have to do to dispel any magical effect is dispel it.
Yeah.
Like, don't let it upset you that it was easy,
Oh,
because everyone else around you is making things too complicated.
Well, no, because we have been tortured with many other things. It was just like, well, we're going to dispel this. It's going to be something horrible.
There are some times where dispelling means one thing and another, but like, you saw Celine dispel the other portal.
Yeah. The barrier's still up, right?
Yeah, the barrier's still there. That wasn't dispelled.
Do you want me to dispel it?
Yeah. I think we like it.
Do you?
Maybe. We dispel it, and it's like, oh, these trees are actually
These trees catch fire.
Though they're
Like I
just
said,
tentacles.
these people are excited for you to be in the group because you make decisions. If they're wowed that you made a decision, you shouldn't find that as a negative. Is it that easy? Yeah, sometimes it is, guys.
No.
You don't have to be alarmed that it was so easy that we halt everything.
Hold up. There's a fish running from a pot, running from a samurai. We need to think about this.
But you guys, that was your MO. Just analysis paralysis for a time. Like,
Is the pot bad? Maybe. Yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta talk to
yeah.
him, maybe.
I don't think you guys ever talked to him, though.
No, we didn't. We're just like, smash.
Yeah, we were told he's a bad guy. We can believe it.
And my alarm is still triggered for another 7 hours, so.
Which works, because you guys will be in your,
So there's only an hour difference.
Alright.